I'm glad to welcome you and your good heart back. This is The Flower of Freedom, and I'm Deborah Reeves, the author. And I remind you that all rights to this original book and to my presentation of it are reserved. Take your seat. We're glad you're here. This is Chapter 55, Good Timing. After an entire morning on the slopes, Marie was still in the lead. She was keeping score between herself and Bertie. He thought he was the athlete in the family, so she had a lot to prove. Much to her dismay, the group had decided that Bertie had won the impromptu snow angel making contest just before lunch, and that ate up some of her advantage. But she racked up a few extra points herself. She had won the snowball fight by firing a snowball onto the roof of the shed behind Bertie, causing the snow deposit there to dislodge and avalanche on top of him and Philippe. The rest of the group had to rush forward to dig them out. After that, they all felt that they deserved lunch just a bit early. Sometimes people are given protection by small things like timing, and they never know that they dodged a bullet or a meeting with a dangerous person. That's the way it was for the group of friends on that particular day. They got to the slopes early, they played hard, they ate earlier than they normally would, and there were so many in their wider group of friends that they were difficult to spot in their fashionable ski suits. The core group, which now included Nicole and Bianca, enjoyed each other's company so much that they went to Bertie and Philippe's room early to spend time catching up and chatting. By 9 o'clock, they were yawning and calling each other wimps, but they all knew they were ready for bed. They made the excuse that Bertie was jet-lagged and that it was contagious. They agreed to meet at the same time in the morning and hit the slopes again. Then Bertie said that he had noticed a restaurant at the very top of the hill. He asked someone on the slopes about it. The guide told him that the food was even better there than at the lodge, but he had to get there by ski lift. The ski lift started running at 6 a.m. and the restaurant opened at 6:15. Nicole and Bianca left first, and Marie and Suzette left shortly after. They agreed to ask the front desk for a wake-up call at 5:30, and they got their clothes ready for the next day. They fell into bed shortly after they got back to their rooms. The guys were in bed early that night, too. Philippe called for the wake-up call, and he promised to knock on the wall to wake Michaud and Joseph. When they left, too, Michaud called back. "If anyone asks when we get back to school, we tell them that we stayed up all night and skied all day. Reputation is everything." Bertie and Philippe hit their beds, and the next thing they knew, the phone rang with their wake-up call. Philippe knocked on the wall to make sure Joseph and Michaud were awake, and a strange and erratic drumming came from the other side of the wall. Bertie and Philippe jostled to get past one another into the loo, and there was a lot of snapping of towels and howls and laughter. Joseph and Michaud had to knock on the door repeatedly to get Bertie and Philippe to come out into the hallway. Michaud grumbled, "We don't have all day, you know. We have an appointment for breakfast, and you're getting in the way of the most important rendezvous of my life. I just know it. That Suzette is a goddess, and I'm in love." The three other young men groaned in unison, and Michaud scowled and said, "What?" Marie and Suzette got to the lobby first, and Michaud, Joseph, and Bertie and Philippe came down the elevator shortly after. The very next car held Nicole and Bianca, who were surprised to see everyone was there already. "We thought we'd be first," one of them exclaimed. They all went and retrieved their equipment and pushed through the doors into a crisp morning. Suzette and Michaud were shivering as they walked to the ski lift. There had been a dusting of snow overnight, and theirs were the first tracks of the morning. The girls huddled around Suzette to keep her warm, but the boys told Michaud that he was out of luck, and he shivered. A moment after the boys had dealt him some tough love, the girls opened their little circle and admitted Michaud. He looked over their heads and smirked at the young men. Joseph grumbled, "Bertie, you're the lucky one. You're going back to Canada. We're going to have to listen to Michaud boasting about the way the ladies treated him for the next 4 months." Bertie replied, "4 months? More like 4 years, I bet. That'll be the highlight of his life." That's the end of this chapter. Thank you for coming again, and we look forward to seeing you for the next chapter, which is chapter 56, The View from the Top. Have a great day.